The Salt Lake City producers are so busted manufacturing storylines with the editing. Now, we will forgive a lot on reality television, but one thing we will never forgive and forget is if you completely make up a storyline, whether that be a cast member doing it and trying to make a storyline for the show, or literally in editing. When you guys edit the show to make it completely different and fit a narrative. It's freaky what they are doing this season with the Whitney, Lisa, Adam, Colin, Whitney, and none of that is accurate. And I'm blown away at the audacity because it's just making them look bad. Like, you got a content creator involved, a YouTuber, podcaster, content creator up and at him. He had his husband record him when he called Whitney in case this happened. So I believe everything he says because I know he will deliver that evidence if it's necessary. So Bravo is busted. I hate when they do the Franken editing. Summer House does it a lot where you'll see a scene of people fighting or talking, and then as they're talking, they'll pull back and do like a master shot, but they'll put in one of those people saying something. Well, that thing that they're saying when you don't see their lips moving is most likely from a different scene, and they needed to add it in because they think that tells the story better, and it happens all the time. Now, that's not my favorite. But what they're doing this season with this whole thing is fucked up. I gotta calm down. All right, so I gotta calm down so I can talk about Orange County. That's another crazy ass show. Shit's crazy on these shows. So I'm gonna break down Orange County first, and then I'll get into Salt Lake City. But first, hello. If you are new to the show, welcome to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. I recap your favorite reality TV shows, and every Sunday I go live at 10 a.m. PT to wrap up the week's entertainment news in case you missed it, and also to chat with my fellow messes. So subscribe and follow and comment if you're watching on YouTube or watching on the Patreon. Hey, and let's get into it. All right, Orange County, it's a lot of conversations about money, spending beyond one's means. That's like the through line, if you will, to this opening segment at least, where Gina and Jen are by the pool, spa in their robes, and then also Tamra and Katie are in the spa, like getting massages or something. And then up in Shannon's room with Emily, Heather comes in and it's discussion of money. So it's lots of this talk. Let's talk Gina and Jen first, though. They're at the pool. Gina tells her about the text from Alexis, and they both wonder, okay, so I'm happy we're all wondering it because I was hoping this would come up on the season and I wouldn't have to like wait for the reunion. But they're wondering what we're all wondering. If Tamra knew about this text and Shannon sent it to her, why hasn't Tamra changed her mind? Well, I watched they're not calling it the after show. They're calling it like Bravo HQ or something. And it's basically the Orange County after show, but it's not called that. So I watched that one from last night's episode. And Alexis, okay, this is just strange. Alexis says that she was not involved in the lawsuit, but that Jim called her and basically begged her to send Shannon a text message to say that this was happening, which is weird. Okay, what? But her name is not on any of the court docs, and that's what she claims. She's also trying to say that with John, she's like, I know it seems kind of coincidental that I was involved in both lawsuits against this woman, but that's just not true. Because with John, I tried to get him to settle. And I'm like, yeah, but whose idea was it to sue to begin with? Sounds like you're there at the beginning, and then you go, I didn't have anything to do with it after that. Because why would Jim ask Alexis to text that? Why? And only to Shannon. She didn't have Tamra's number. Why? Why? Literally why? So, anywho, but then also Tamra, her explanation is that she knows Alexis's name was not on any of the court docs, but then Shannon says she has the letter that has Alexis's signature on it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying anything that Alexis is saying here. I'm not buying that whatsoever. No. It's too coincidental. It's too coincidental. And why, if your husband's going to, or your ex-husband that you're divorcing is calling you saying, hey, send them a text and threaten that we're going to sue, for what? Why would you want like more of a paper trail of anything? Like if anything, just have your lawyer send the thingy, the whatever, the cease and desist or whatever it is. Why do you need to send a text message first? And Alexis, how, if you really didn't believe that Jim should have gone forward and sued them, why would you, after your divorcing, why would you send that text then? Because it seemed like you were really on board with it. But if you're claiming, we're going to go off of what you're saying that you didn't even believe, you thought he shouldn't do it. Why did you send a text that made it seem like you absolutely wanted it to happen and were a part of it? So either way, that's weird. Right? Okay. Busted. That's right, Alexis. Busted. With your lies. Also, Tamra. Oh, I guess we should talk about Tamra, huh? Fuck. We should talk about Tamra. I can't leave that out. You know what? I'm going to save it for the end. I'm going to save it for the end because I feel like as the episode ramps up, it just really connects with what happened on the social media. Well, on her, put a pin in it. I promise I'll get to it because it will come up organically because I don't think any of us could help but watch this episode with what she said about being on the spectrum in mind and not go, now hold on here. This isn't, so we'll get into that. First, let's talk about the Gina and Jen conversation by the pool, talking about why the hell didn't Tamra tell us about this text? This is weird. Why is she so fucking mean to Shannon? What's up with that? Her and Heather. But then with the mammogram thing and Heather being upset, Heather had sent their little mammogram group, a text that said something about how she has a family history, but doesn't feel comfortable talking about it on camera. Now, when I first saw that text and didn't hear how Heather responded to that, I was like, oh, that is a little confusing. But when Heather said, I was talking about my family's history, like their medical history, like I don't want that to be discussed and like what they've been through. I'm like, oh, that actually is how I could have read that too. This is a very simple thing. And I think I've said this repeatedly. All Gina really should have done is gone, fuck, I didn't ask. That was my bad. I was so caught up in my own shit. But because Gina's so afraid of always being in trouble with Heather, it's like she's freaked out. And so she's like, I can't have one more thing for her to come at me with because she's going to, it's been piling on, right? So I can see why Gina's a little more nervous about it. And this is about something much bigger. But in this one situation, all of them kind of fucked up. They all did. And that's okay. They were all scared. They were getting mammograms and they were freaked out. And like I said last week, they probably just weren't thinking Heather would need to be checked in on. I don't, but now Gina's taking it to a whole other level. But then Gina tells Jen that Heather called Tamra to tell her about the price of her dress. She was in Neiman Marcus or whatever and saw the dress there and then called. And then they flash to the bus or the van or whatever. And it's not just Heather and Tamra talking. It's actually Emily too. Emily very much was a participant in that conversation. Remember that for later because I thought that was funny. Okay, but then after they're done, after Gina and Jen are done talking about how like, why are they talking about my money and whatever, cut over to Tamra with Katie saying that the dress was $2,000 and that she's worried about it. And then Katie does try to like, I wouldn't say Katie is being, she's not defending Jen or Ryan or anything like that. I guess this is new enough into their friendship where Katie could be looking at it from not a like this is my friend, my alliance, don't talk shit about her or whatever, but like can be concerned, like, okay, I am a little worried then, because I have myself gone through a divorce, not had any money, and it's not a fun thing to then be dependent on a man. But wait, I just realized, is she dependent on Matt then? Or are they both independently wealthy? I just thought of that. Because Matt's the breadwinner. What did they do again? Well, something with golf? Anyway, so Katie expresses a little bit of concern and isn't just like shutting Tamra down, and says that, well, Jen called me to tell me that she felt really bad for spending that money and maybe I should return it, but that Ryan convinced her to keep it and said that she could wear it a few times or something. So then Ryan was obviously the one who paid for it. See, then Tamra said, like, Katie asked about the FBI thing and she's like, I shouldn't have said that, but they were going to Vegas and the Bahamas on private jets because the casinos were sending them. And I'm like, is that really what happens? Like, why would a casino send... I'm so naive, maybe. Why would a casino send people to the Bahamas on a private jet? Like, is that bad? That sounds like a fun time. What about that is bad? I'm not saying that he's not being totally sketchy. And usually when there's questions about the way people spend their money and stuff like that on any franchise, it usually ends up being a legit question. Usually, not always. I can't think of an example, but like usually. But then also Tamra, of course, brings up that Shannon spends beyond her means. Like I said, everyone's talking about the way people spend the money. But then over in Shannon's room, Emily is there, and then Heather stops by to talk. Let's get to the bottom of this type of thing. Shannon's like, I made it very clear to you that I did not want to talk about what I told you in Sonoma, which goes with what I was thinking was the deal. And I think I got confirmation. Some people watched Jeff Lewis and got confirmation from him that when he brought it up on his show at that time, knowing it would air almost immediately, Shannon was like, I don't know if I want to talk about that publicly yet. And as she says, it's slander. Like, I don't know if he did. I have no proof of that. I'll never know. He'll never admit that. But this is just something that was in her head. But for some reason, Heather made her feel used somehow. I don't know how, but okay. But then Heather fucking says, did you ever think that maybe if you pay him, then it dies away? Hasn't she offered to pay him, but he just won't sign a non-disparagement? That's very frustrating. But instead of Shannon saying, I did offer to pay him, but he won't sign a non-disparagement, she goes, you know what? I'm going to get it. And then she goes and gets her papers. They're on a bunch of notebook pages, but not even like nicely pulled out. They're all frayed, like she's been ripping them out all crazy. It was unhinged. So what Shannon is adding up in here is like dinners, flights, hotels, clothes, things like that. And I'm just wondering then how, when he offered this money, or when she asked him for the money, why didn't she even mention any of this stuff? But also she didn't like want to piss him off. So maybe that's why she didn't want to mention it, because he would have been like, oh, all mad or something. But when she said out of her own mouth, she said when he sent her a promissory note, she went crazy. I would love to know what she said when she went crazy. In that convo, when she went crazy, was it her saying, I have paid for so many things, you probably owe me $70,000 or whatever? And if that's the case, then I need more information, because when Heather says pay him, he'll go away, and then she comes back out with these notebook sheets that say like, this is what I paid for on this day, and family dinners, $618, which I had to say was actually quite low. I'm like, oh, well, you guys were together for years. That's actually family dinners. That's not that expensive, actually. That's actually kind of a deal. That's not too bad the whole entire time. And I obviously I don't like John Jansen and I don't want him to get anything. But I am a little bit, I'm trying to be supportive. I'm just a little bit confused. Um, he, John probably gave that money and then sent that promissory note. There was probably so much behind it. And you know what? Maybe he sent that, I don't know. So she said, he said, you should get a low interest loan. She said, you have money. He gives her the money. Then he's like, okay, here's it because you're going to pay me back. And she freaks out. I'm having a hard time. But I support her and everything she does. Something that is never in season, body odor. So let's face it, summer isn't the only time we can get body odor. We can get real funky under some of our favorite fall clothing. That's why I'm very excited to tell you about Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. That's right. You don't just get body odor under the arms. If you've ever had an interesting odor coming from your bikini region and thought, oh my God, I have a disease, could just be body odor. Lumi deodorant was created by an OBGYN because she had patient after patient coming in saying, something's wrong down there. And she went, oh my God, it's just body odor. And so she created and developed Lumi deodorant that is pH balanced for use below the belt and everywhere, and it can control odor for up to 72 hours. That's a really long time. I do hope you shower. And now, after many requests, they have formulated a new product, Lumi Whole Body Deodorant Plus Sweat Control. That is right. The same 72-hour odor control with 72-hour sweat control. Lumi is baking soda free, paraben free, and you can choose from a variety of scents like clean tangerine, love, lavender sage, toasted coconut, also love. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers because it comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. I love the body wash, by the way. And you get free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code SHESPEAKS for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code SHESPEAKS at LUMEDEODORANT.com. All right, moving on. They're on the bus and they're doing like a little touristy thing. And so Gina then brings up her issue with Heather and the mammogram and the text and whatever. And like I said, Heather clarifies, like, I didn't want to air out my family's medical history. No. But the fact is that there were 3 women there with me and not one of you asked how mine went, and nothing changes that one moment. And Gina goes, oh, that moment meant so much to you that you felt, and it's like, stop. It's a simple thing. I get that this feels bigger, but it's very simple for sure. Heather then gets to go, you're the one who brought it up today. I was over it last night. Well, I am affected by this. Heather goes, well, that's your problem. And she's sitting next to Tamra. Tamra really brings out the mean side of people. I really hate saying that, girl, but she does. She brings out the bitchier side of people and not the honest side. Don't do that. Just dismissive and shitty side of people. Sorry, but it's true. Heather goes, no, because Gina goes, why now does it come back in a way where I'm made to feel like I wasn't being a good enough friend? I'm like, well, it's fine. You fucked up in that moment. That's it. But because she's got the history with Heather, yes, I get it. Because she has the history with Heather and this season and all the things, it's a bigger thing. However, then she starts grasping at straws because when she gets mad, she says, you have too high of expectations of me. And Heather's like, oh, so I shouldn't expect you not to go to a person who's talking shit about me and like join in. And they keep flashing back to the first time Katie brought it up on camera at the lunch with Gina and Emily, and Gina's laughing and saying, ooh, she's going to get herself in trouble. So Gina, that's right. You need to own up to that right there. But when Gina goes, okay, well, this goes both ways. When you were on Watch What Happens Live, and with Andy Cohen, and the couch comment about the whose house would sell for less, and I don't think Heather did anything wrong. Heather talks about this on the little after show thingy, the HQ, Bravo HQ thingy, and says that it's a fast show. When you're on Watch What Happens Live, it's live. And I thought by saying that's a mean question, because who would be the right answer? But I guess when Andy was like, probably Gina's, she could have said, well, no, I mean, she owns her home. Like, let's give her credit or something like that. But this is a little bit of a reach. It's a little bit of a reach and does feel like Gina's just trying to get one up. But I think what Gina's maybe trying to say is like, I let some stuff go. And if that had been me on that with the couch comment and the what, you might have gotten mad at me. So maybe I actually, never mind. Maybe I do see her point. Maybe I do see your point. Okay, a little bit. I see your point a little bit. All right. Actually, I've talked that out. But then Heather is like so rude, and she's like, "Oh, this is so ridiculous." And Tamra goes, "It's exhausting." Gina's just like, "Okay, you're exhausted. Goodbye. Whatever." And yeah, there's that. So then they separate. Then Jen, Gina, Emily, Shannon go to this like food festy type thing and roam around. And the others go to that chocolate shop that looked so good. And then when they were talking about how it smelled so good, I was like, I'm hungry, I think. Yeah, I'm hungry. Because then even thinking about them doing that food fest thing, or Gina's like, I'm so happy. I'm like, I get it. But then they go and that group goes and does like the Tudor photo shoot thingy. Which Jen then she handed out the different roles and costumes to people, and she said that, and of course I'm the guy because I've got all my big dick energy. Now I thought she was saying that jokingly, but I'm like, oh, did you mean that? Because yes, I applaud that final moment with Tamra, but I don't in any way think you have big dick energy. Not at all. I hate saying that, but like, nah. Emily has big dick energy. Tamra has Napoleon complex dick energy or something. But yeah, no, not you, Jen. And that's kind of a compliment. Like, we don't like, she's a sweetheart, honestly. A little dumb, but like dumb about real life stuff, you know? But again, I am one of the worst spenders, so I am not going to be judging anybody ever on their bad spending. So I'm the wrong audience. I will never tell anybody how to spend their money because I have no business doing so. But okay, they do their little photo shoot thing, and then afterwards, Jen and Gina tell Shannon about Heather calling Tamra to talk about the price of her dress. Emily's face is like, I kind of need to stay out of this, because then Shannon does her like Barbie hands, like, that's what I'm saying. Don't focus on you. Don't focus on you. And then looks at Emily, don't focus on you. And Emily's like, except Emily was totally participating in that conversation. She had things to say. If you can't pay your rent and if you can't whatever, you shouldn't be spending $2,000 on a dress. Right? And then focus on your own life, Shannon says. Focus on your own life. Shannon has gone to like a whole level of Shannon delusion at this point. Like she has gone through it, this filming schedule. All right. She has been dealing with a lot. And now she's on, the eyes are popping, the pitch is getting real high. She's on a mission at this point. All right. Then they go to dinner later. And this is where Jen asks Heather about the dress thing. Heather really attempts to pitch it like she was just worried about her. But no, that's definitely there. You cannot even kind of convince me, because if you're worried about someone, you contact the person. calling someone else, especially Tamra. Sorry, Tamra, but it's true. But so then Jen tries to, I don't really know what point she was trying to make here because she kind of walked right into this one. She goes, Heather, you walk in wearing head to toe designer. And then Tamra gets to come back with, well, she's got the money. And that leaves Jen. She goes, so what? I'm like, well, that's the whole point of what they're saying. It's like, we wouldn't even blink twice at someone wearing something that was expensive that we know has ample money in the bank. But when we know someone's had major financial struggles, but she just walked right into that. Emily comes in and says, Ryan bought the dress, right? And then Jen gets real high pitched and says, like, what does it matter? Like, why does that matter? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. She's freaked out about that. She knows that's not, but it's hard to let go of that lifestyle, but she knows this is getting real dangerous, real dicey, the way she leans on Ryan. She knows. And so this is like one of her biggest insecurities, probably. And is he generous? And is he offering these things? Yeah. But is there a little bit of confusion over like what exactly he does and how he gets his money and all that stuff? Yeah. So it's, it's just a little bit pause for concern. However, Heather, you weren't concerned. Heather, you weren't concerned. Okay. Heather then does the right thing, though. She gives Jen a seemingly heartfelt apology. But then Jen moves over to Tamra and is like, I don't even know what to do with you. And Tamra's like, I thought we were good. No, she just hasn't talked to you about what you fucking said. Literally, they haven't spoken at all about it. They were supposed to, but they didn't. They haven't talked about it. So Tamra's like, I thought we were good, bitch. And then, but actually this gets like resolved, not fast, but it's like, what do you do? Jen lets her know, like, Ryan had nothing to do with the FBI thing. So just be supportive. And then Tamra gives like one of her apologies, about how it came out the wrong way. She just needed to get it out, but it came out the wrong way. And that I'm sorry. And it's what do you say to that? Okay. Thank you. Because if you keep talking, eventually the question's going to be, well, then what do you want from me, Jen? I already apologized. So her doing that's like, okay, we're done. Got it. So anyway, but then Shannon's like, my turn. So she asks Tamra, you knew about that text from Alexis. How did you not tell anybody? How did you not back me up then? And Tamra goes, because that's between you two. And thank God Emily's like, but that doesn't make sense. Why does Shannon get all the scrutiny and Alexis gets all the passes? Right? And then Shannon goes, you want to bring up how I lie. Just stop talking about me. And Tamra goes, okay, and you stop talking about me. And then Shannon, did I say you have a big ego? You do. But then I thought this was a stretch. I'm not the one who has such a big ego that I wouldn't pay $75,000 because I don't want to look bad. What? Shannon goes, you know what? You're just very cruel. As she cuts her food. You know what? You're just very cruel. And then Tamra. Oh, the way she goes, oh, shut up. And then turns her head from looking to Shannon and then just sticks her hand out like to block Shannon whenever Shannon starts talking. Oh, that was gross. Oh, that was gross. Shannon, don't you dare raise your hand to me like that. And then Tamra does an extra dismissive, like flick of the hand, like, I'm done with you. Bye. But I'm so sorry. I need an opportunity to say this quote in real life. When Tamra says bye, Shannon says, maybe you buy. This is my trip. Maybe you buy. Maybe you buy. I need a chance to say that. Bye. Maybe you buy. This is my trip. And then Shannon gets up there like, no. She's like, I'm going to the restroom. All right. Somehow they just move on from that. They're like, okay, we're done with dinner. And then they're in an elevator and then they go. But then this cruel game that Emily comes up with to have them all text their dudes while Shannon is sitting right there with no one to text. What were you people thinking? Emily, not one person thought about that. Honestly, I would have just sat next to Shannon because like that, But then Emily in her confessional so mean. She's like, you can text Archie. Fuck, you guys. Lord almighty. Okay, then they get into like fun nighttime shenanigans. Although Tamra ringing someone else's doorbell as they ran down the hall was fucking rude. I don't know what time of the day it was, but if like I was sleeping and some psycho rang my doorbell, I would be so upset. Okay, but now it's the next day. Emily goes with Tamra. Is it just the two of them? Yeah. Goes with Tamra, like walk around, I don't know, whatever. And she tries to tell Tamra that it's time to be, she words it quite nicely, be the bigger person. But then in her confessional, she's like, or, don't kick her when she's down. Don't call her an alcoholic. Let's try to help her. But if you say this to Tamra, she will just say to you, that's all I've done. For 10 years, that's all I've done. That's just not true. It's not totally true. You have talked to her about how she needs to be a better friend and reciprocate. That's for sure. But there have also been times where you've not been 24/7 supportive. There's a lot of examples of that, actually. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going because we got a lot to talk about with Tamra still. Shannon, while Emily and Tamra are out, Shannon and Gina go to Jen's room, and Shannon is locked and loaded with that text message from September 2022. Shannon goes, someone sent her some stuff about Ryan, and then she said, I'm going to have my friend do a background check on him. And then it's the screenshots of the what seems to be a background check. Now, this doesn't really matter, but I do think that counts as a background check on some level. But technically, it wasn't one of those real background checks where you have a private investigator. So Tamra saying she didn't run a background check, I feel like in her mind, she's getting off on a technicality because she didn't do like a full one, but okay, hold on. So then Shannon, though, she really sells this in a way that's so silly to me. She goes, we don't stoop to this level because that's not who we are. But like, my God, yes, you guys are. But it was such a camp moment to be so shocked. I'm like, it was 2 years ago. Well, maybe a year ago when this was filmed. And it was like, it wasn't that like crazy, but she had to sell it, and she had to get Jen pissed. And I don't fucking blame her. The way Tamra wouldn't look at her and put her hand out like that? Fuck you. That's just rude. But now Jen is ready. And the way that camera follows her all the way up to Tamra and Heather's room was so fun. Because I'm thinking in my head, okay, so the reason they're doing this is because there isn't already a camera in Heather and Tamra's room because that wasn't on the schedule. They weren't going to have a scene in there. There were no cameras. They were just getting ready. So they had to follow Jen because that's where the story was going. And as Jen walks in, Tamra's talking about someone, and it sounds not great. She's saying, oh, yeah, she said, I think they will get married. And I said, you can have two people. And then Jen turns the corner that don't, hi, with the camera and a producer. They're like, what the fuck? And then it's on. Jen goes, you did a background check on Ryan? And Tamra, no, I swear on my kid's life. Ew. It wasn't good. Just because we just saw, but like, I'm telling you, technically, she's thinking, I didn't technically get like a whole background check. I just asked my friend if he had a mortgage license. So technically, I didn't run a background check. But we just saw her say, I'm going to have my friend do a background check. And then she's swearing on her kids' lives that she didn't. And we're like, oh, God, that's not great. It does get cleared up at the reunion. And sure, was Shannon maybe like picking something that wasn't maybe as big a deal as she presented it. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. At this point, someone's got to do this shit to Tamra. Tamra, you got to get some of it back. You just do, girl. But then Tamra when Jen's going off, Tamra does the clapping. But then Heather has the nerve, right after Tamra starts clapping, Heather has the nerve to try to get Jen to let Tamra talk. Let her talk. I don't need to let her talk. She fucking knows. That's right, she does. It was good. Tamra goes so loud. Oh my God, it was 2 years ago and I've never paid for a background check in my life. Okay, that pitch, that tone, I don't like it. It's too much. It needs to be eliminated. That pit, when you get that high, I don't like it. It's not good for my ears. But Tamra goes, it was a real estate guy. And then Jen goes, what does Eddie do? Oh, well, he owns a multi-billion-dollar business. Jen goes, I don't give a shit about what Eddie does. Tamra goes, then why are you asking? To prove the point. Jen, do I need to go dig around? Is Eddie happy? Tamra clapping again. She looks insane. She looks insane when she's clapping like this. And then Jen, why are you clapping? Because you're using your voice. I'm so happy for you. You won't listen. You just want to yell. Well, that's rich coming from you, lady. Sorry, Tamra, but my God. And then Jen is starting to say exactly what she saw in the texts. It's this, and then you sent the screenshot, and then Tamra goes, wait. And Jen goes, no, you fucking wait. It was the most powerful no. No. Oh, so good. I was like, who is this? Okay. Also, then editors really screw over Tamra here. In Jen's confessional, she's like, when Tamra's backed into a corner, she becomes a feral cat. And they cut over to Tamra looking like a feral cat. Like this sucks for her. She is like midway through her glam and her face is just like all concealed. And you know what I mean? She just looks like she just has eyes basically and her hair is halfway done. They didn't need to do that right after she said feral cat, but it was funny. But then Tamra in her confessional, she goes, I know Shannon's just trying to send someone, like get someone all riled up or whatever, but I mean, at least send someone with half a brain. All right. So now we're going to talk about what Tamra said and what happened with this whole thing. So I doubt you missed it, but just to get the story going, Tamra apparently had her first ever, she calls it her first ever therapy appointment, but I could have swore she's talked about being in therapy with her kids or something. But I have a horrible memory, so I can't go off that. But I just thought, anyway, she talks about how after her first therapy session, she goes right into record with Teddy. And she says that she had her first therapy session and she learned something big about herself today. I'm on the spectrum, she said. What she then got back was a lot of, facts. Like, this is impossible after one session. And a therapist doesn't diagnose this and like all that stuff. So then she has since made a statement saying that she spoke too soon. I'm sure her therapist was like, yeah, no, that was not. What I think happened was in therapy, Tamra's talking about things that she wanted to talk about. Like, I'm being told I don't have any empathy. This is what I did here. This is what I did there. And the therapist might have just said something like, we could look into maybe you may be on the spectrum. And Tamra maybe went like, what does that mean? And the therapist told her a little bit about it. And Tamra was relating to it or something. And then she gets on this call with Teddy to record and says it's just really tough because she said it almost like, I don't want to say to get us off her back, but it had a tone to it of, now I'm different. You guys, it's like, this is such a delicate subject. I know most people were very upset about it. I don't want to kick Tamra while she's down and while she's saying, I shouldn't have spoken about it. It was my bad, like whatever. But they fucking titled the episode The New and Improved Tamra. It was their, and now they since have changed it to just be the Potomac recap or whatever, like RHOP recap or whatever it says. But it was called the New and Improved Tamra. And after one therapy session, she's saying, that this is what it felt really icky. Who does their first fucking therapy session and then starts a recording? I would never. That's too difficult. No, thank you. It was a big fuck up. I think I just saw this headline as I was scrolling, but I think Vicky said something about how what Tamra did was as bad as faking cancer. I don't know if I would go there because that went on and on and on, and the lies were endless, and people were like, I'm not sure if you do have cancer. And he was like, how could you? As where Tamra has literally gone immediately back online to be like, that wasn't right. I shouldn't have done that. So I don't know if it's the equivalent. But what she was saying when she first announced that she had this diagnosis or whatever was that it was because of trauma. She has clarified that she didn't mean she was on the spectrum because of trauma, but that she was sort of mixing up parts of what happened. And you guys, I don't feel qualified to say whether or not she has any other qualifications that would lead this therapist to think that she could be on the spectrum. How about this? Anyone who can speak more to, like any of my autism moms, especially a lot of you guys reached out to me talking about how pissed you were at Tamra. And I want to hear from you guys. You see, when you're watching this scene with Jen and she's going, bye, 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 like that. Is there anything there that you guys are going, okay, I can see that this is some sort of stuff. I'm not familiar enough with it. And I don't want to say everyone looks the same when they, I don't know. I just would rather hear from people who know a lot better than I do. Because my gut instinct is just, this is mean. Her thing about how someone at least pick someone with half a brain is just mean. All I know from people who are in my life that are on the spectrum is it's not a cruelty. It is a genuine brutal honesty, like a genuine brutal honesty, but not an insult. Maybe the honesty feels like an insult, but it's not. At least pick someone with half a brain. It's starting to just feel cruel. And I don't know exactly what that diagnosis is. But I do know that Tamra feels remorse. Whether or not that remorse is for herself, because then she needs to go like apologize or something. But she does appear to have remorse when sometimes. But I don't know. She really fucked us up here with this one. She really, because I don't want to say that. All right, I've already said enough. You guys get where I'm coming from, I'm sure at this point. It's like, Emily, you're repeating yourself. Move it along. All right. Jen has an amazing exit monologue in that whole thing. Heather has kind of a condescending attitude. Didn't love it. Wasn't appreciative of that little attitude there. Maybe she was just a little caught off guard. But I didn't like it. But Tamra was just, to me, cruel. But it was fun to see that from Jen. And it looks like next week it's going to be what I think is an attempt on Tamra's part to sway Gina away from Shannon. And it looks like it's Tamra who's telling Gina that Shannon wanted us to talk about Travis, or you pushing Travis down the stairs or something like that. But this is also what Tamra did. Remember this season with Kelly Dodd and the train, and how Tamra was the one who brought it up on camera, but then Vicky got blamed for it? The way I remember the scene is that Vicky goes, Kelly knows what I know. And then Tamra goes, are you talking about the train? And then that's how it got brought up on camera. So Tamra doing this again now, but with Gina and with something that Shannon said. It's sort of like you're doing the same thing. Like you're bringing it up on camera. So anyway, all right, enough of that because I have so much more to say about Salt Lake City. So let's take a little break and we'll do that after. Something I look forward to when the weather finally starts to turn cooler, not feeling guilty about staying inside, all cozy and bundled up all day long. Because when it's nice out, you're like, okay, I'll go outside. But when it's gloomy and chilly and you just want to stay all cozy inside, yep. I want to slip into a cozy sweater from Quince. Quince is kind of known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from just $50. And it's not just that. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. That includes beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. They also do great sheets and towels, FYI. And how are they able to do that? Well, they partner directly with top factories. So that cuts out the cost of the middleman, and then they pass the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And of course, premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. The coziest item I have received from Quince so far is the Mongolian cashmere fisherman cropped cardigan sweater. Oh, it is luxurious. I feel like I'm in a romantic comedy, all bundled up and sipping my tea while I look out the window longingly. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/shespeaks for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/shespeaks to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/shespeaks. This episode of She's Speaking is brought to you by Wild Grain. Fall is here. The temperatures are finally dropping, and it's time to start baking delicious homemade favorites. Wild Grain is here to help you warm up your house with sourdough breads, fresh pastas, and artisanal pastries, including a wide array of seasonal offerings. And rumor has it, they will have a small number of apple cider donuts. So get them before they sell out. They make it so easy, they do all the hard work for you. If you are not familiar with Wild Grain, it's the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal pastries, breads, and pastas. Every Wild Grain box is fully customizable to your tastes and dietary restrictions. And in addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. I always get the sourdough breads, pastas, and make sure that they put those croissants in there. The croissants in the Wild Grain box are the best croissants I'll ever eat. I'm telling you now. So are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/shespeaks to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/shespeaks. That's wildgrain.com/shespeaks, or you can use promo code SHESPEAKS at checkout. Okay, let's talk about Salt Lake City and their bamboozling of us. All right, so the conversation that happened between Adam and Whitney that happened in the car that we saw on last night's episode did not happen at that point in filming. So what we will see next week, which is going to be Whitney confronting Lisa with the way it's supposed to look, with the information she gets from Adam, so therefore looks justified. She's going to confront her with it. Lisa's then going to call her a liar. And the audience is supposed to think that Lisa's caught. But this is what fucking really happened. When you see Whitney at the next week, when you see Whitney talking to Lisa, she has not spoken to Adam at all. But it wouldn't even matter if she had spoken to Adam, because what Adam told her in their conversation was it was not Lisa Barlow specifically. So the account or the content creator that put out the Prism Alibaba thing originally was actually Dana Wilkie on her Patreon. And I thought this was a little messy, Adam. But if Dana's going to put something out on her Patreon, give the bitch a chance to put it out. But Adam and his husband, Jason, are very good friends with Dana, they said, or he says, excuse me. And so Jason told Adam, hey, Dana Wilkie is about to break this story. And Adam called Whitney to give her the heads up. He has a bit of a loyalty to Whitney because at BravoCon, I don't know the full story. Some of you may know it better than I do. He had an incident where he said something seemingly about Monica, like a positive thing or something. Then all the ladies on Salt Lake City got mad at him, except Whitney. Whitney was like defending him. This all happened like in person at BravoCon. And I'm sure I could go dig around and find it. But that's all I know is that's what his loyalty to Whitney is that she was cool with him at BravoCon and whatever. So he calls her, gives her the heads up. Hey, this thing is about to come out. So when Adam tells Whitney, Whitney goes, find out who it is. I know it's Lisa. I just need proof. Adam admits that when he heard Whitney's reasons for thinking it was Lisa, he was like, but sounds like it was Lisa. But he still went searching for the proof. So when he reaches out to Dana to say, hey, someone must be feeding you this. Is it Lisa? Dana said, I won't say who it is, but it's not Lisa. So then also, though, Adam had another task that Whitney had given him. And the other task, the second task, was to figure out who was behind an account on Instagram that went by Claire. I have not even bothered looking that up. But I'm sure that's not the only part of the handle. I don't know. But apparently this account was coming for Whitney's daughter, Bobby. And we're all thinking about Bobby. She had a whole episode. She was in the ICU. Awful, awful nightmare. But Whitney wanted to know who was behind that account, also thinking that this is going to be Lisa, I guess. So Adam finds out who knew the person behind that account. But this is not Dana. This is a different person that he went to say who's running that account. That person, whoever his source was, said that they wouldn't say who, but they allowed him to ask questions that would help him, like, eliminate others. So that's when he's asking, does this person own a jewelry line? What about a liquor brand? And the answer was yes to a liquor brand or a beverage brand. And Adam says, when he's retelling us now, like if you watch any of his videos now, he's like, Lisa's not the only one on the Salt Lake City cast with a beverage brand connection. And I went on a Google search and I'm like, who on the cast has got beverages? The best I got was that Meredith Marks had something maybe to do with coffee at one point, but I haven't seen her promoting it. So I don't know who. If you guys know who, then tell me. But Adam has made it very clear that Lisa Barlow was not the answer for either store, either the Prism thing or the account Claire going after Bobby. Adam says that he had, in that conversation, he was having two different topics, the one topic about the account and the one topic about Prism. And in that conversation, they pieced it together. They started off with one topic, they put in Whitney's confessional, and then they ended it with the second topic, which then led a lot of people to be like, so then are you saying Lisa Barlow is behind the other account? But it was, he said, she's not the only one with the beverage brand. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. So he's got his ass covered. He's got the receipts. He says he's got text messages. And Whitney actually asked him if he could make this phone call because they need it for the storyline to like to wrap up the storyline or whatever. that's also kind of nuts. But this conversation that he had with Whitney took place right before they filmed the finale. So it coming in right here, right before Whitney's about to confront Lisa and say, I know it was you who did this. This wasn't when it happened. This was towards the end of filming. And so they put this shit in just so that she could get the soundbite. But like to Franken edit this together to make Lisa look bad. Like the way they open the episode with Lisa telling Jack to get off put the gaming down, put the remote down or whatever she says. It's like, oh, okay. So they're really setting this up to look like to make her look bad. So I'm not even like, I don't look, if Lisa makes a mistake, I don't care. I'll call her out. I am not attached like that to anyone ever. Literally. It's just right or wrong, period. But this is wrong. And proof that Whitney is a fucking producer puppet. Also, something Adam points out, and Adam is, when you watch Adam's coverage of this, he's not like Team Whitney, like standing Whitney at all. He has a lot of thoughts, and his big thing is, why was there the same stock photo from Alibaba on the Prism site? Like, what is that about? Why? A couple people, Adam shared it today. It was Bravo's Snark Side that put that up about, I don't know if that was the account that was talking, I don't know, but Bravo Snark Side put up that this is the Prism and this is the Alibaba pictures. A lot of the comments said that it's possible Alibaba stole their photo and put it on their site. That I can kind of believe, but also why? Were they selling the same thing? Because a lot of the comments were saying that, like Alibaba's known for doing that. They pull pictures from other products or whatever. I don't know if that's the thing or not. And it's possibly a thing. I kind of don't think that Whitney would truly source things from Alibaba. And Adam said that when he told Meredith about this, Meredith actually was like, I don't believe it. Now, that's just what he says. He's kind of friends with Meredith, so I wonder if that's really what she's been saying, because here she is bringing it up on camera, not acting like it's not saying Whitney would never do that, but saying, and now it's the whole problem, and she could have asked me for advice, and I would have helped her, but she didn't, and all this stuff. And so I don't see her being like, Whitney would never do that. But, okay, but that's what Adam said she said. But also, Whitney... So if you guys don't know, there's like drama between Zach Peters and Up and Adam. It's a whole thing. I don't even know the full story, but Zach Peters posted some tweet or thread saying like, if for anyone who doesn't know, you have to sign a waiver to be on these shows and you're recorded. And I'm not saying this call is fake or staged, but it was staged, but not necessarily by Adam, by Whitney. And so Adam's like, yes, I do absolutely know. I did know I was going to be filmed. Like, no one can film me and put me on television without me knowing about it. Absolutely. I knew it was being filmed, which is why he had his husband recording it on their end so that they could cover their ass in case editing did exactly what they fucking did. But what Adam's point is knowing that when you make a phone call, you know you're going to be filmed. This call that Whitney has with the hotel where they tell her that someone threw out a necklace, that felt very staged. And it's a good point because I thought, now what a nice hotel staff that they would alert someone to a necklace being thrown out in the trash. Like, what a thing. Like, wouldn't they just like not even bother? Like, if it's in the trash, it's there intentionally. Is a hotel, do they make that a practice? So Whitney is getting busted. It's really making me think that it's true. Whitney and Angie K totally had like an idea to come into this season and go for Lisa. Because she literally told Adam, we just need the call for like story. And they Franken edited it together to be what it wasn't. That is infuriating. And for Lisa, she's not like, sometimes you kind of wish Lisa would be like, all right, that's just not true. You're lying and not need to go to a 20, but she always has to go to that 20. And it's like, okay, all right, just take it down. But it's infuriating. And now when we watch Whitney try to tell Lisa, like, I heard that it was you, she's fucking lying. And I want to hear what she says. I want to hear who she says it is. Because at this point, at that point, we're about to see, that would be before Adam was able to confirm it from anyone, because he wasn't able to confirm it was Lisa. In fact, it was told it's not Lisa. So Whitney is going up to tell Lisa, like, I have proof, when she doesn't. Okay? Is this not a little crazy? Is this not fucking crazy that they do that? So with the season with Angie Harrington and Lisa and the catering, that party, was chronologically not, like, I think it was presented like it was the first event or something, the first group event or whatever, but it was actually filmed later in the season, and Lisa genuinely had nothing to do with the caterers. But they thought it would have worked out as a storyline because Whitney and Angie Harrington were all buddy. And so it's all tracking that, like, this is what they fucking do. This is Whitney's MO with production. Have them, like, creepy. It's having this evidence is crazy. So now we're going to watch this whole thing different. Also, something Adam said that I was like, I'm so sorry. What? Adam, he's like a Jen Shaw fan. I don't think, I always forget that about him. So maybe he's just saying this, but Heather apparently didn't get the black eye from Jen, and he knows how she got the black eye. He was kind of saying, like, eventually when Jen gets out, because she's going to probably get released early, she's going to have to answer to that, because I know what really happened. That's what Adam said. But so, like, so then okay, so then Heather is what? What else could it have been that would have required Heather be so weird and cagey about it? Right? I cannot believe we're back here. But apparently that's Adam. Adam is like, that is not how she got the black eye. So anyway, so that's all that. So now we're going to be watching, like, we know what's fucking going on. Okay. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame. All right. Now let's talk about some good parts, or just interesting parts, actually. So Bronwin and Lisa have been friends for years, and Lisa has met Gwen, which is interesting because apparently when they were in the airport, Bronwin made some sort of face and made Lisa go, oh my God, you look just like Gwen. And she went, nope, that's not true, because she looks just like her dad. And when Lisa saw the picture, she was like, oh my God, I'm friends with his parents. Like, the fact that she never made that connection, even looking at Gwen, like, maybe she didn't know because she's friends with the parents, which is also so funny. So, that was a trip. And Bronwin says, because Lisa's like, you never told me, or I never knew. And she's like, I did that on purpose. I've been very protective. And then they also don't explain this, and I've looked it up and I can't figure it out. He passed away when Gwen was 2, but they don't say how. Obviously, it's tragic because he must have been very young, like a teenager or something, or 20, 21, something like that. And I can't figure out how. So that's also sad. And they found it on a Facebook post. That's how they found out about it. But Lisa, in this situation, it's a little tricky because these are her friends, but these friends of hers were fucking assholes to Bronwin, like traumatized her. Bronwin tells the story. It's like, they did a lot of, like, blaming of me and basically wanted me to go away, have the kid, and come back and give it up for adoption. So for Lisa, this is probably tricky because she didn't know that about them. She's been friends with them this whole time. And now she almost has to sort of kind of advocate for them and maybe she's not actually, she might be giving it more of some rose-colored glasses type of thing than it really was, because she says, I know there's pain on both sides. And I met with, they cut out her name, Gwen's grandmother, excuse me. And she's like, it's time. I think there's regret and hurt there. Hurt. And said, we want to be a part of Gwen's life if she wants to be a part of ours. Now, that leads Bronwin then to tell Gwen. And then when Gwen, we get this scene later, when Gwen reaches out to them, they say something back that's not as warm maybe as Lisa presented it. And it leads me to think that Lisa kind of just gave it a bit of a nicer spin than they really intended. And that's going to be a big conflict, because if Lisa keeps trying to come to their defense, it's going to look not great. It's like, yeah, but then they literally turned away their soon-to-be grandchild, telling the girl that their son got pregnant to go somewhere and come back when you're not pregnant and give the kid up. Not good, not great. So I'm a little uncomfortable with Lisa's closeness to them and Bronwin. It's like, I hope that this doesn't become a conflict, but I don't know. We'll see. Whitney, Heather, and Britney hit the slopes. Whitney is great at snowboarding, right? Yeah, snowboarding. But I swear to God, Britney and this Jared thing, like, oh my God. I barely know this woman, and I don't know that Jared guy, and I don't want to. And I'm over it. So embarrassed for this woman. But she has now flipped it and has decided to pick on Lisa. Lisa was just so anti-Jared, and it really affected what I did. I mean, maybe that was for the best, but I feel like she's just too invested in my relationship. What it is that Lisa's your friend who won't let you not follow through. Like, that's why she picks up the phone for you and sends the text messages and all that. Is it a little extreme? Yeah. But it's that she's going to be the one now you're mad at. Because, and we'll get to their stupid lunch, because Jared has a problem with it. But we'll get there. But then Whitney can't wait. She's like, I'm also really upset with Lisa. She gave me the biggest fuck you ever. Cut to the conversation with the hotel people where they're like, oh, we found this necklace. It says it's in the trash. Like, who calls the host of, why wouldn't you call the person whose room it was? I don't know. Very fake to me. But then Heather tells her that Lisa's the one who told Meredith the Alibaba thing, and then I told you. And Whitney's like, I feel like this was planted. And both of them go, by Lisa? And she's like, But then in her confessional, she's like, I've been coming down on Meredith, and now hearing that Lisa started this rumor and not Meredith, I think I have this wrong, because she's the worst fucking detective, and she's always on a mission to find more things. And now it's just getting real embarrassing. Real embarrassing. So what was her plan was originally to go for Meredith. And then she's like, oh, it was Lisa. Well, now I'm going to call. So at what point did she call Adam? Or at what point did Adam call her? Like, when was this put in motion? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if Adam can tell us that, because maybe more things play out. Because he did keep saying more things will come up. So he can't say everything, but it'll play out on the show. But, at what point was did Adam call her, give her the heads up and let her know? And like, where are we at? Like, when did that happen? You know what I mean? That's interesting, because she's acting so shocked that Lisa was the one who told Meredith. It's all lies. Hey, She's Speaking listeners. This episode is proudly brought to you by Lola V, an award-winning hair care line founded by the ever fabulous, ever iconic Jennifer Aniston. When the air starts to turn crisp, it's time to reassess your hair care routine. Do you ever wonder why your hair never seems to reach its full potential? It may be the weather, but it also may be hidden in your scalp. And for the one factor we can control, Lola V's bioengineered a 2-in-1 game changer to clean and nourish your scalp. The new Exfoliate and Detox Scalp Shampoo combines the power of a scalp scrub and a clarifying shampoo, featuring a unique blend of activated charcoal powder, bamboo extract, and gentle AHAs to get rid of all that gunk weighing down your hair. It leaves your scalp feeling clean and perfectly balanced. And let's not forget the vegetable ceramides and B vitamins. They're there to soothe irritation and reduce flaking. Plus, with ingredients like alfalfa sprouts and pea peptides, you're on track to thicker, fuller looking hair. Do you love the science behind great hair care? Lola V's got you covered with their proprietary B Pro 3 bond technology that ensures your locks are protected from damage. And the best part, this brilliance in a bottle is formulated for all hair types and textures, especially those dealing with dry, itchy scalps, especially as the seasons change. If there was ever a product that was made for me, it is this, the Exfoliate and Detox Scalp Shampoo. In my quest to figure out why my hair was shedding nonstop, I've discovered how vital scalp care is. I already use the restorative shampoo, and I always tell people about the lightweight hair oil. I don't know how the heck they do it, but it's literal perfection for those who have thinner hair and you don't want frizz, but you don't want to weigh it down. Check out all Lola V products at their website at lolav.com. As our loyal listeners, you'll get an exclusive 15% off your entire order when you use code SheSpeaks15 at checkout. That's 15% off your order at LOLAVIE.com with promo code SheSpeaks15. Please note you can only use one promo code per order and discounts cannot be combined. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Your hair will thank you. We get a very the way Mary is letting us in on Robert Jr. in a way it is vulnerable, but also still very respectful. She's not coming out and blatantly saying that he is struggling with what appears to be some type of substance issue. But she says, so she calls him out, Robert, get out here. And he comes out looking like he's been asleep. And he says, can I get a little money? And it broke my heart when she said, it's just for food, right? Nothing bad. And it's like, if you've ever had a child that is struggling like this and you want to still be there for them, it's definitely enabling for sure. But I don't think she needs to be at the place of he needs to be thrown out yet. But he possibly just needs to be really uncomfortable before he'll make a change. Because his eyes are literally rolling in the back of his head as he's talking. He's like not really talking. Unless he's about to doze off. This looks like pills, probably. Pills are so easy for people to get now, like pain pills. It didn't look great. But Mary isn't saying that, but she's also still letting us in. In her confessional, she says, yes, I want him to be motivated and disciplined and get a job, but he's not in a place. He won't perform. He won't do well. And that has a lot to do with his lifestyle. And I thought that was a very vulnerable but super respectful way of letting us know that she knows. And if you see it, you're seeing it right. But I thought that was pretty heartbreaking because I kind of thought that this would be something Mary would never acknowledge. But to know that she knows and is still just trying to support him and be his mom, it really breaks my heart. Like how when she found out he was married, where's this wife? Where'd that lady go? So it really humanized Mary for me. It was respectful. Like I thought I appreciated her letting us in at all. Robert Jr. doesn't have to be on camera. She doesn't have to put him on camera at all. And that was cool. That was really cool. And then cut to Mary getting in Angie's car going, it smells like onions. Angie's so funny. She goes, oh no, you hate onions. She's like, that's not a good sign. But Angie takes Mary to a dance class at Millennium. I, by the way, had no idea Millennium had gone like national. Congratulations, Millennium. But Heather's daughter, Georgia's there, which is hilarious. It's exactly my nightmare. Because I've thought about like going back to take some dance classes just to kind of like get back into it just for fun. But then I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be that like old lady in the back with all these kids. This is like my nightmare. But I'm so sorry. Mary dancing and doing this class was amazing. Please please have, apparently Mary's all about activities. She's like in ziplining. She's taking dance classes. What? Who is this woman? Amazing. But Angie tells Mary after the class that she's obviously very upset about the Electra comment. And it wasn't great. But I'm going to say, and maybe this is a really hot take, but I'm going to say that I don't think Lisa was making a comment on Angie's parenting, more so trying to bust Angie for using that as an excuse to get off the phone. Most likely, what's also happened too, because they've been friends for so long, I bet Angie has said to Lisa, like, oh, whenever I just need to get off the phone, I'm like, oh, Electra's calling me. Like, I'm sure, because I would. Fuck, if I could use my cats as an excuse more, I would. But I feel like Lisa was more calling her out for maybe not like, I don't know, but it didn't feel like a parenting diss. However, we'll get to what she said. We'll get to what she said in the next scene. But she says to Mary, Angie says to Mary, this is very important. It feels like Heather is siding with Lisa. And this gets in Mary's head here. So, all right, we'll pick that back up in a second. Now, Heather and Lisa go to these salt caves. When Lisa ordered a tea from that woman, I thought, uh-oh, I have a feeling. That woman looks so confused, like, sure. And they're on camera, so she's like, just got to say yes. But when she comes in and she goes, be careful not to spill it or it will dissolve the salt and essentially ruin this entire place. So she could not, like, no one's ever asked for tea in this thing. But okay, apparently Heather really is siding with Lisa. And I saw the polls on Watch What Happens Live, and it appears as if the audience is all very much team Angie and Mary, because it seems like it's Angie and Mary versus Lisa Heather. And I'm going to say this. Heather being so on Lisa's side is actually kind of fucking it up for Lisa. Because Lisa doesn't need Heather, don't do that. Don't be all up on Lisa, doing all this shit with Lisa. You guys have too much of a history. It looks really weird, looks really fake. And like the black eye thing, it's just, don't advocate for Lisa. You're making it look bad. So I'm more convinced that the reason everyone's on that team is because Heather is ruining it for Lisa. Because it isn't cool that Angie said, I don't let my kid play video games until 2 a.m. or whatever. But also, she was pissed because of the Electra comment. And as much as I just said, I don't think that she meant it as like a parenting diss. It felt like one for Angie. And it wouldn't hurt Lisa to have said, I didn't mean to comment on your parenting. I was just trying to call you out for making bad excuses to get off the phone with me. She didn't clarify it unless they cut it out. And so for Angie, she feels like it was a slight on her parenting and was just talking shit. But for Heather to then bring it over to Lisa like this was pure mess. Pure mess. But Heather is taking a firm stand, and she's proudly team Lisa on it. Thinks that Angie is changing the parameters of the friendship without letting Lisa know that that's what she's doing, and is like challenging her a lot. So, okay. All right. I don't totally get why she's so team Lisa on this. Maybe because she sees Angie with Whitney? Maybe that's part of it. She's like, I need to double up or something. Okay, but now the next scene in this episode is Whitney getting the call from Adam. So in this phone call, now Adam, I don't understand because Adam said that Lisa's not the only one with, he said a liquor company or a beverage company. But then in this moment, in this conversation, what they keep in is him saying, I didn't realize that it was someone that you're close to who was putting this information out. I was trying to do my best to figure out, and they said it's definitely someone in your group, and they don't have a jewelry line and whatever, but they have a liquor brand. That's what I believe was said. So once we can figure out who else has one, it doesn't even have to be maybe a current one. Maybe this is like a former housewife or something. I don't know. But okay, that conversation that we watched did not actually take place at that time. So this didn't actually happen. So pretend you didn't even see this scene. Cut it out of your mind completely until it should come up, but not now. Nope. So this conversation didn't fucking happen. Literally, didn't happen. He has proof. He has timestamps. He has receipts, proof, timeline, all that shit. Oh God, Britney gets lunch with Jared. And like, I don't need to analyze this. He's a creep and she sucks. I don't need to sit here and go through what she said. And she's like, he doesn't put me on his Instagram. He doesn't call me his girlfriend, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they go ziplining and it's a mess. So fuck right off. Before that, though, before the ziplining, great scene with Bronwin and Gwen. And she has such a cool soul, right? She seemed cool talking about how it's disappointing and that their response turned her off. And this response was something like, looking forward to meeting Gwen, but only if Gwen is in a place in her life where she's ready to accept us. Yeah, that is weird. It's like, don't put that on me. You guys rejected my mother and never reached out to me ever. So what the fuck is that? So I don't blame her. And that's Lisa's friends. So, But okay, now the ziplining. Mary apparently loves ziplining, guys. The car ride up, they get covered in mud. Well, not they. Heather specifically gets splashed so hard in the face that it's so bad she can't even like wipe it off. Like no one wanted to help her out and like clean her lip off from the mud. Just kept it on her face the whole time, even when she's fighting with Mary later. It was so weird. But they get the way Mary is so grossed out by them busting food out of the trunk and tailgating. She's like, what's tailgating? Like barbecuing? You know, bitch, I get it. Bitch, I am the same way. But like, Mary, though, where did you want to go in the car and like drive to wherever like a restaurant was? Because that could have been far. And you know what? The charcuterie looked good. It looked real good. But Heather opens up their little day, their lunch or whatever, by giving Britney this unicorn figurine thing to remind her how strong she is. And she's like, I know that, you know, it's tough with Jared, but like, how did the closure conversation go? And Lisa goes, oh, what? Like, did you like meet up to break up? And Britney goes, I actually don't want to talk about it, especially like, I'm pretty upset with you, Lisa, because you grabbed my phone and you texted him and you FaceTimed him and you caused a huge rift between us. A huge rift. Lady, the entire thing was a rift. There was no causing of a rift. The rift was rifting, and then they all were just being supportive friends trying to get you to knock it off with this man. But at this fucking lunch with Jared was like, you got Lisa getting on the phone and da-da-da-da. And in her mind, she's like, oh no, that could have possibly ruined something. Even though he's sitting there telling you he's not going to give you one more thing that you're asking for. And he's looking at you crazy when you say things like, it's maybe your fault for not making me feel safe. The man rolled his eyes so hard when you said that. But sure, yeah, Lisa caused a rift. No, he's of course not going to like one of your friends getting on there and telling him off because he's used to getting away with murder with you. And all he has to do is say, she hurt my feelings, and now you're mad at Lisa? No. Girl. Nope. I am. Lisa goes, I don't get why you're mad at me because Jared is upset. We called him out for his bad behavior. Britney goes, you were so mean to him. Heather goes, he deserved it. And Britney goes, how do you know? I almost threw something at my screen. How do you know? Because we watched as you got information that he had been messaging some other girl and you were crying in the bathroom saying you've been wondering and you've been thinking about it. And so that's why. That's why we know he deserved it. Because he's been gaslighting you and manipulating you, and you look ridiculous. And I don't know her well enough, and all she's doing is pissing me the hell off. I don't want to see Jared on my screen again. He's creepy. Yuck-y. But Lisa goes, you're not even his girlfriend. And Britney goes, no, we just like to be private about it. Mary laughs off to the side. We just like to be private about it. And Mary goes, Britney goes, I just want to be in a good space with him where we can be friends. And what you did might have ruined it forever. Get her. You are so stupid. I don't care if I'm being mean. This is ludicrous. Britney goes, stay out of it. It's none of your business. And Lisa goes, fine, I'll stay out of it. Mary suddenly clocks in like she's been a part of this conversation the whole time. Leave us out of it because you're wasting a lot of time about this. And Britney goes, oh, I will 100% leave you out of it, thinking that she's saying something like savage. And Mary goes, good. Thank you so much. And then Heather, leave me out too. Lisa, leave me out 3. Mary, I don't think anyone really caught this. Mary goes, ain't nobody got time for this. Oh, God, that was good. All right. Well, then Britney switches to trying to just be like, Heather, how are your girls? And Heather goes, oh, yeah, Mary, you saw Georgia. And Britney rightfully asks, how did you see Georgia? Mary, oh, the wind blew it to me and I blew it back. Britney goes, okay, but how did you see Georgia? I'm confused. And Mary says, I just said, the wind blew her to me. I just said it. I don't understand. I already answered it. Amazing. Amazing. And so then Heather's like nervous because it feels so secretive. And she's like, Georgia is in a professional dance class and Mary went. Is that right? Mary just goes, mm-hmm. And then it's like quiet. And then Lisa goes, why were you at her dance class? I was just there for the sake of it, trying to get a workout. Pause. Lisa, what style is it? Like hip hop, classic? Brittany's like, I know, there's like so many secrets going on. And then Mary just goes, I was with Angie. Like you could have just said, Angie and I took a dance class there. That's all you had to say. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the buildup. And Lisa's like, okay, fun. I haven't talked to Angie since Milwaukee. Tom pointed out something. I went on Dumpster Dive with Tom Hamlet yesterday, and he pointed out that when Lisa says, I haven't spoken to Angie since Milwaukee, Heather makes a face like she was shocked hearing it for the first time. She's like, what? It's a very subtle thing, but I wouldn't have caught it if he hadn't said that. I'm like, but you know that, Heather. And Mary goes, and why is that? And Lisa just goes, I don't know. Mary, are you upset with her? Because last I seen you were calling her the B word. Lisa goes, in Milwaukee, I didn't feel like she was being a good friend. And Mary goes, but why though? And I love Lisa. I can talk to Angie about it. Like, I don't know what you're doing here, Mary. Then Heather, though, she didn't need to do this. Is like, because she said something snarky about Lisa behind her back. And then Lisa picks it up. She said, I'm a bad mom. And Mary's like, when? Because she can tell that Heather was the one who delivered this information. Like she can figure out what's going on. But Lisa just goes, when Heather told me I cried. And then Mary, this is a fair question, a very logical question. She says, well, why didn't you contact her and ask her, did she say it? You know, that's a fair question. Well, Lisa says she can call and tell me what her new issue is with me. And then Mary says, again, it's very practical. She goes, if you cried about something somebody did, you should address them and not anyone else. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's accurate. But then Heather, again, I think she cried because, well, I don't know why you cried, but I felt like it took you by surprise that Angie would say something like that. You don't see, this is a problem. You don't need to be in it. You can let Mary didn't want to even say she was in a dance class with Angie. You can let this die, but you don't need to be like the spokesperson for this because it really puts you in the middle. And then Mary says to Heather, but it also feels like you champion Lisa. And then she pointed, you've known Angie since high school. And Heather says, I champion Angie as well, but in this situation, I'm on Lisa's side. Cut to Mary's confessional. She says, I feel like Heather is always in the middle of something, but yet she hides her hand. She stands there like she's the innocent one. Now, I'm going to say something. A lot of them do that. Meredith does that. Whitney obviously does that. Mary doesn't. Nope, because Mary is like too honest. If anyone has like that type of brutal honesty, that's not just like, I mean, yes, she can be insulting, but I also feel like she's just oddly honest, is Mary. You know, like when Tamra's like, I'm just on, it's like, no, Mary, I don't think Mary even means to be insulting. She just says the things in her head, which maybe can be very insulting, actually. All right, pretending I didn't say that. But then, okay, Heather then starts to talk about her reasons for why she's not supporting Angie in this one. I feel like she's taking Lisa's friendship for granted, and she's in this mode where she wants to change the terms of the friendship, but she hasn't informed Lisa of how that's going to happen, and she's just critical and snarky. And Mary says, that's kind of two-faced behavior, Heather. My thing with you is you leave a trail of lies. Like the black eye. I almost fainted. I could not believe that was like, oh my word. Oh my word. She said that because Mary wasn't even there for the black eye. She said that. Then you champion body positivity, and now that's a lie too. Now, I'm going to say that one doesn't count because Heather didn't mean she didn't believe in body positivity. Heather was saying it's all been a lie. Like no one, like this whole concept of body positivity is bullshit because as soon as you lose weight, you get 20 times more support and you get the body that everyone wants. So like that one, I'm not going to give Mary. But the black eye, ooh. So yeah. But again, they all kind of do this. Like Meredith does this, Whitney does it. Lisa kind of does it a little bit too, maybe, but not actually as bad. But she could. But they all kind of do that. But just the black eye alone. The black eye alone. How Heather came back from that, I don't know. Like, how did she make up with production enough to do that? Because that's crazy. But so after Heather explains herself, when Mary says, "I'm not trying to hurt you, Heather," I'm just saying, I could tell she meant that. I could tell Mary really was like, I'm actually not trying to like come for you. I'm just saying my thoughts and my feelings on this. And I really believed her somehow in that moment, which is like weird of me. But I feel like she meant that. All right. Well, anywho, next week we get more lies from Whitney. And Bravo still has a chance. Maybe maybe the plan is to reveal later that that's not what Adam said, but that's stupid trickery. Don't do that. Don't show us something and let us get all up in arms about something for weeks, months, and then be like, actually, it was this. Because we react to the show as you give it to us. And like, that's not fair to the people that are on the show, the cast, you know? Anyway. All right. All right, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to get this edited. I'm going to get this out to you. And I love you. I mean it. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/she speaks and buy me a coffee or too. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.